Hey everyone, my name is Maurice West. I'm the State Central Committeeman for the 17th Congressional District, and I'm the State Representative of the 67th District.
And my name is Carter Elliott. I am the Organizing Director for Illinois' 17th Congressional District with the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee.
And we're really excited today to have Jackie McGowan with us. Today is her day for the town hall. This is her spotlight. And so, Carter, if you're okay with it, I'm going to put you backstage and bring you to the front stage. Cool?
Yep.
All right. Hey, Jackie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We're so excited to have you. Again, this is your day. So the spotlight is solely on you. So we're going to have 10 minutes for our opening statement, five questions for 3 minutes, and then a 5-minute closing statement.
Okay.
So we're going to start with your opening statement for 10 minutes.
Okay. My name is Jackie McGowan, and I'm really excited to be here. And I'm having so much fun running for this seat. And I'm loving meeting all the constituents in District 17. I am not a Chicago native or Illinois native. I grew up in California, but I did move to Chicago when I was 18. I started working on the Chicago Board Options Exchange at that age and became one of the youngest stockbrokers by the time I was 26. I continued on after being transferred from the Chicago Board Options Exchange to New York's Wall Street and worked there for another 9 years. So I have 18 years experience working on complex negotiations in a very fast-paced environment that was also very male-dominated, and I was extremely successful in that industry. I left Wall Street when I realized that my soul was just not satisfied, and I really had an urging, to do more and to work for people. So I moved back home to California, where I started working on cannabis legislation and have been doing that for the past 8 years. I worked on local and state cannabis policy in the state of California, which is one of the most complex and convoluted policy markets in the entire country. And then I ran for governor of California last summer. There were 46 people that ran in the recall race, and I finished in 7th place. I got 3 times as many votes as Caitlyn Jenner did, which is a crowd pleaser, whether you're Republican or Democrat. And I knew that I needed to continue on because that's what my soul was telling me, that I needed to go fight for people and I needed to make a difference in the world. I am looking forward to representing District 17, given that this is where my family is. I have 250 first and second cousins that live in Illinois, and at a young age was always wishing I could be with my cousins and my aunts and uncles and my grandparents. And that's why I moved here when I was 18. And the only reason that I left was because I was transferred. I then, had a bigger calling and decided to go work on cannabis policy in the state of California. But what people don't know about me is that I became a cannabis advocate at a very early age. At the age of 8, I realized that my abusive father did not beat my mother when he was smoking that stuff. So at the age of 8, I asked my mom, "Hey mom, how much does pot cost?" And she freaked out and she said, "Oh my gosh, you're 8 years old. Are you smoking pot?" And I said, "No, mom." I was also an entrepreneur at that age. And I was selling sodas at construction sites, and I had saved up $17. So I just wanted her to tell me how many more sodas I needed to go sell so I could buy my dad some weed so he would stop abusing her. At that time, my mom was 9 months pregnant with my brother, and I wanted the abuse to stop, but I also wanted my brother to come out okay. And so this has been a big part of my life and my journey, and it's kind of what led me here. It's why I wear a weed necklace, to help destigmatize this plant, which has also become the best medicine that I've ever known.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jackie. So let's go ahead and move on to the questions. Our first question to you is quite simple. What makes you the best candidate to keep this seat blue?
I've been doing a lot of cold calling and door knocking and running around to events. And the feedback that I'm getting from the constituents in District 17 is that they're tired of weak Democrats. They want to see Democrats fight as hard as they see the Republicans fighting. And I was raised by Trump Republicans. I was uninvited to my father's funeral. He passed away in February of COVID. And I was not invited to the funeral because I came out of the liberal closet less than a year ago. This was never politics was not something I ever debated with my family, because I knew how strongly they felt, and I knew how committed they were to Fox News, fake news. And what makes me the best candidate to keep this seat blue is that I am the toughest Democrat to take on a Trump Republican in the form of Esther Joy King.
Good deal. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the second question. What would your first 100 days in Congress look like?
My first 100 days in Congress will be fighting for the people and to continue on the esteemed Congresswoman Bustos' legacy of fighting for women's rights and energy, innovation. And a lot of the bills that she's worked on are bills that are near and dear to my heart. And I would be, what people don't understand about legislation is it's not simply just getting a bill passed. You actually have to stick around and make sure that the bill is implemented. And that's the harder part. Getting a bill passed is hard, but the harder part is actually making sure that it's implemented the way that the bill was written. And so in my first 100 days, I'm going to pick up all of those bills that Ms. Bustos has been working on throughout her tenure, and continue to fight for women's rights, and really work on the Next Generation Fuel Act of 2021 and revive that.
Thank you so much. Moving on to the third question, quite lengthy, but thankfully it's going to be on your screen. People are concerned about the economy, such as inflation, gas prices, the possibility of a recession, the supply chain issues we've had, especially with now with baby formula. What are your main ideas to improve the economic health of our district?
First, we have to realize that we are not, a recession is not a matter of if a recession is going to happen. It's a matter of when. I'm the only candidate that understands monetary policy at the level that I do. As soon as you have inflation and then you have the Fed starting to raise interest rates, a recession is inevitable. But what comes out of a recession, after a recession, is usually innovation and, forms of emerging markets. And so we need to be able to prepare for that. And we need to elect someone that understands all of those complex issues. Inflation is killing Americans right now. And so we need somebody that's going to go on the offense, not defense, and create safety nets to catch those people when they inevitably fall, because they're going to, and create job training for those new emerging markets that will inevitably, emerge after this recession hits.
Thank you for that. So you kind of answered this question a little bit in your 100 days in Congress part, but the next question we have for you: how would Congresswoman Sherry Bustos' work in office inform your work, and how would you continue her legacy?
Ms. Bustos passed a bill in February. In these divisive times, she was able to work across the aisle, even though all you see on the news is how much we're at war with each other, the Democrats and the Republicans. And Ms. Bustos was able to get a bill passed, and it's very near and dear to my heart. It's a bill called the End of Forced Arbitration for Sexual Harassment. That bill, as soon as it passed, allowed a Fox News woman, former Fox News reporter, to sue Fox News, and she wasn't able to do that before. And I really look forward to honoring her legacy and continuing out her incredible work for women and reaching across the aisle to get bills like that passed, so that we can continue to, strive for equality.
Thank you for that. Our final question for you: name one accomplishment of yours that you're proud of that is currently benefiting our community.
So in 2015, 2015, it was the year before legalization for adult use of cannabis passed in California, I got one of the first ordinances passed at the local level in a county called Yolo County. And it legalized and licensed cultivation before it had become legal at the state level. That has spread across the country, and legalization has continued to be implemented in some form in 37 states, Illinois being one of them, and Illinois being one of the ones that also enjoys the legalization of adult use. And I feel that I've been a part of that. My most proudest accomplishment in that arena is working pro bono for a city called Coalinga, which was facing bankruptcy at that time. And they were facing bankruptcy because of an abandoned prison. And I helped negotiate the sale of that prison to a cannabis company. And that cannabis company not only saved that city from bankruptcy, it is employing people that used to be incarcerated there, and it is growing cannabis where they used to grow food for prisoners. That's absolutely my proudest accomplishment. And I look forward to doing similar things like that in District 17.
Good deal. Well, thank you for answering the questions. So we're going to give you 5 minutes for your closing statement now.
Okay. When I am speaking with the voters in District 17, there's a lot of issues that are hurting them and that they all feel are very important, whether it be the war in Ukraine, whether it be women's reproductive rights, whether it be voting rights, whether it be inflation, fair pay, equality, all of those things are things that I feel that the Democrats need to start fighting harder for. And I look forward to being that person in District 17. Although I'm not from there and I'm not familiar with the geography, I am absolutely more experienced and qualified in order to do that. And Congress is exceptionally brutal. There are several great candidates, but I don't believe any of them are as tough as I am. I've not only survived, but I've thrived as a stockbroker for 18 years. And then additionally, I have 8 years experience working on local and state cannabis policy, which is one of the toughest industries to navigate. There is no more ruthless environment than Wall Street, and there is no more convoluted political environment than in cannabis policy. And I have exceptional experience and success in both of these arenas. It's this experience that makes me the most qualified to go into the political shark tank that is Congress to fight for the hardworking people of District 17.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have Jackie McGowan with us. Jackie, thank you so much. For those of you who would like to get more involved in her campaign or ask any follow-up questions of Jackie, you can reach out to her at JackieMcGowan.com. Jackie.
And Maurice, since we do have a few more minutes, I'd like to pay honor to the best medicine on the planet. And if this is okay, this is actually just hemp. It's legal in 50 states, and I would like to smoke it with you.
All right.
Jackie for Congress. Please vote for me.
Right there, folks. Jackie for Congress. All right. Thank you so much, Jackie.
Thank you, Maurice.